Right, we are epically busy. Now we've got the tank on, we've put some spring washers on and some thread locker, some Loctite over there. We've got that on it, letting that do its job. Now we need to get some kind of template made for how we're going to mount the engine. So I'm going to take this second gearbox, use the holes as a guide, and I just marked it off in a cross pattern, roughly lined up where that crosses is where this pin's going to be roughly, and then I just stick small enough Phillips screwdriver down the hole, give it a whack with a big persuader, little Thor over there, making sure you keep it in place, bring it out, put it into the next one, give it a bang, next one, and so on. Douche. When you're done, you will have X marks the spots all over the place. That should be a good start. Right, that's how we're going to get that lined up for that on, and then we'll get this pin marked out. Because there's a recess under here about 31-32 millimeters, so we'll use the step bits after we drink lots of coffee. We'll use that to bore through to make it fit that perfectly, and then we'll get it mounted. Once we can do that, we know that we'll get this mounted, so then I'll build a frame with some extra wood down here so we can sit it on and get it properly running, properly tuned without shaking it to bits. So, well, let me get on with it. Now we're looking for a good tight fit because we don't want it wobbling. There we go. Sorted. Now we can get some spacers on to spread the weight out. Got plenty of spacers here. We'll be able to find something. Spread the weight. Right, excellent. Right, so far I got a bit overboard, made this 2mm too big, not paying attention. I was hoping for a bit of support keeping it around that little ledge that's on the side of the casing, but it'll not really matter. This is just mainly a template for these holes. I'll know better on this one next time. I will find the centre of that. So yeah. Now for this, I don't have any spring clip pliers in my arsenal. I said arsenal. So just hold one in place, pop the other with a screwdriver. It should come off. Well, it should. It never does, but it should. Ka-ding! Make sure yours doesn't do that. There we go. We'll just sit it down the way we took it off. We should be good. Now, get this measured up. Epic fail. Now these bolts are in the way for this to become flush. So it looks like we're going to have to template this actual piece. So we'll take it apart. Shouldn't be too hard. Just like that. I'm going to separate this from its gasket and its locator pin. Got loads of goop. And just wiggle it. And voila! Lots of absolute lovely Chinese syrup. Wow! So it's super glue that keeps all this together. Excellent. Now we've got our template. Let's get to work. Right, this is the back side, so I need to stop saying dodgy words. It doesn't look too straight, but so I'm just going to stamp in the holes that we need just in case. now we get back to drilling. Well, another issue discovered. Right, we've lined the holes up, but the bolts won't bite on from through here, so they need to be longer. But yeah, they definitely can't be in the way. Can you see down here? Where are we? You can see the heads of the bolts are in the way of everywhere. It would go back a few more mil. None of my screws are long enough to make it down back through the housing. They're coming into about here. These aren't the right bolts anyway, I just put these in for size. But my M10s are barely even making it to here. So I need to get longer, much longer, to make it through and bite into the engine. Now, I don't know about the chain. It looks as if the chain might actually get in there. That would be funky. And then this could possibly be made out of plywood. So the idea that I had that's this could actually become a possibility. That would be cool. So I might try spending the day trying to strengthen the life out of that to see if it would take it. Probably wouldn't, but it would be cool. So at least we've got a template made for all the holes to line up, which I've not absolutely double checked. But from looking just now I can see FD, FD and FD, so that tells me I can see the centre of the bolts through here. And these have got a different emblem on them, but is it? No, I think that says FD and just in a different style. But yeah, so I know they're dead on. I just need longer ones, so the template's made. And that's what will transfer onto possibly this. Don't know. Might actually just clamp them together and do that. Then that way all we need is bolts and to strengthen it. Because if I can't find metal, metal's what I need, because metal's thin, it's tough, and it would leave enough space back here for it to work. So I'm absolutely covered in icky Chinese oil. But yeah, as you can see, the engine would just be attached to that, which I'm sure would give this a good bit of flex. So maybe if I keep it short enough and strong enough, we could do it. I'd love to see it made of wood. Right, better go before it ends up made of waffles. Right, just to show I've stripped that apart, matched it up. I've actually stuck this part onto the back the way that I think I need it. And drilled the holes through, so now I'm about to just take it off, bring it over. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Back in a second. I needed a big hole in the centre. Now what is obvious is we're going to need spacers, so I need to measure 2 spacers for here to fill up that space. I'll get that done just now. Sorted. 2 spacers. They'll just need drilled out. They might need to be made shorter because obviously we're still trying to source a way of stripping these bolts out and putting longer ones in so they fit on as well. I want it to be as secure as possible. I just don't think this kind of wood's going to hold up to it. So we need to come up with some other kind of frame or an inner skeleton, so maybe bend some bar around, like, hold on, where are we? Like the bit we already made, like a big U-bend. Alright, maybe if I make a couple of these U-bends and have it coming in at the back and the front of the channel. I'm just trying to think, because if the bar comes up it needs to be able to hook on, but the bolts might be in the way. So I need to measure the width of the back forks against this and see how much space I've got to play with. I've got enough space to fit heads of bolts. I'll bolt this wood onto an internal U-bend frame just to keep it rigid. But don't know, might not work, worth a try. Right, moment we take a look. Right, it's templated up. I've found all the bolts, I've got it to fit tightly. The big bolts on the four corners, they don't fit yet, so we don't have the right bolts for them, so we can't mount the engine. But now that's back in place, we can start thinking about strengthening this just now, because we have no steel and this is all we've got to play with at the moment. So if I could make some kind of U-bracket for in here to strengthen it, then I could bolt it all over the place onto that. That should give it a good bit of strength. Now I do have metal there. Don't really have a way at hand of bending it. I do have a press, I do have a vise, so I might be able to come up with something. We need to make some U-brackets for in here. We're going to strengthen it. Stop it from going in on itself, and the engine will mount straight to it. This will mount to the bits on the bike. That's the plan. We need to get this done because we need to line up and see if we need to chop this down or change the length of it, shorten it down to the pinholes in here, or I don't know what needs done, but this has to be done first so that we can get all the measurements and lining everything up. We are getting somewhere. I never thought about making it out the wood. It's just way too flimsy. That was just a template for what I needed, but it might actually work if we get the right size bolts. Add some washers on the inside so the bolts don't just rip through the wood. And as long as we strengthen it, it could be good. So that'll be the next part. Just now, we are nearly done. We've had everything out. Cutting, screwing, filing, tapping, banging. Nightmare. Still not much further. Now the engine's good to go, but I'd rather have something for it to sit on for when I start it up, because when I've done it out the back, all the weight was rested on the petrol can and it rattled the screws loose and nearly popped the can off. So there's only a little bit of hose keeping it on under here, so there's not really much room for it to move. So now we've got this done, we know that we can mount this to it, which is perfect. Happy with that. I don't know how much video we've got, so I'll go for just now, and we'll see you when we get back. Bye for now, guys. Right, now we're struggling to bend it. Can't bend it in the vise clean enough, so we're marking it off, cutting it with a handsaw, and there's the first plate. First plate is on. Now we will cut other bits to come up here, and we'll see about getting that welder there to weld it into place. And just a way to cut one more for the bottom at the back, and then we'll need to cut two big legs. Won't be doing that today, we've got too much done today already. Far too much worky. Hands are killing me with sawing this with a hacksaw. Got plenty of funky tools, just don't have the blades to match it, so do it by hand, the hard way. More enjoyable. Now, everything's fine. Engine is, well, the engine part is mounted. We're just looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 M10 bolts, slightly longer than what we've got, and we'll be laughing for getting it mounted. We're pretty much there. After we've done this bit for the channel, all we really need is 2 straight bars for the back and a chain and some way of attaching it to the bike. So looking forward to that. Any ideas would be good. And yeah, it's absolutely freezing today, so I'm waiting to get warmed up soon. I'll finish off cutting a little bit. So bye for now, guys.